grew up in the world of metal and punk, in which I still do love. I do feel the need to finally see what the rest of the world has to offer. My name is Aaron, and I grew up as a metalhead. Okay, alright. This was highly requested. This is probably the newest theme that I have actually seen in a lot of terms. And actually, interestingly enough, now that I think about it, I think that this is one of the more highly requested themes that I've gotten in a while. And interestingly enough, I think, if I remember correctly, I have done this sound. But, you know, sometimes you gotta do what the people want. Let's check it out. This is a couple days old, so should be pretty good. Going back to the Wishbus, everybody. 107.5. The Wishbus. Whoa, right into it. Just checking to see if there's English subtitles I missed. There's not. We're gonna go bounce back.
Huli ang aking sarili, nagangiti na naman at nagkukuli. Nang tunay na kailanman ay di ko maipagsasabi na naman. At pagdating sa aking tahanan ay hindi ko na naman mahanap aking susi. Saang lupalag ko ba to na itabi, pasintabi na naman. Nahihilo na sa inyo. Nasaan ang habang sa sarili kong pagkatao? Sino bang may tenga sa mga pulong ko? Kahit pa ba sumigaw ay malabo? Oh, at tao po, pakinggan nyo naman ako. Kahit di nyo subukan buksan ang namang pinto nang tuluyan ang makita nyo. Tunay na ako, di nagtatago sa likod ng bumubulag na ilaw na to.
Wish 107.5.
Napapamuni-muni sa kawalan ng huni. Nakalang magbabago, kabayaran ba dito'y sarili ko'y maglalaho? Sino bang may tenga sa mga pulong ko? Kahit pa ako'y sumigaw ay malabo. Oh, tao po, pakinggan nyo naman ako. Bakit di niya subukang buksan ang bukas namang pinto nang tuluyan ang makita nyo? Tunay na ako, di nagtatago sa likod na bumubulag na ilaw na to. Ito na naman ako, patungo sa presinto. Nag-iisip ng kung ano-ano, kailan bang laya ko dito? Eto na naman ako, pwede bang ipagpaliban muna ng isang linggo? Pwede muna bang hinto? Papalapin, ako'y papalapin na bigas sa yabag ng bawat takbang nitong paa. Patungo sa lugar kung saan ayaw kong pumunta. Wala na bang iba? Wala na ba? Patuloy ang aking paghahanap sa pag-asa, ngunit
1075.
Okay. I wanted it to be really dialed in for this one to kind of see what I can pick up. And there's a couple themes that obviously I think I'm going to pick up. First and foremost, I think out of anybody, so I'm going to preface this first and foremost. Again, Ken or Philippe, Stel, and of course the ace Pablo. They were always really good. Really, really good. And so I'm going to kind of exclude them from this particular section because they pretty much just started out amazing. But I want to say right here, right now, this is probably who I think. I'm just going to make sure that if I can find another spot. Okay. This might be the greatest, I would say, improvement of everyone. And right here.
Pamuni-muni sa kawalan ng huni, di mapapirmi aking sarili. Ilaw nga ang dahilan kung ilan bang
Let's go here too.
laya ko dito. Eto na naman ako. Pwede bang ipagpaliban muna ng isang linggo? Pwede muna bang hinto? Palapin.
So what I think is actually why I think that he has the greatest improvement is because he has found an identity. I think when we watched him in the past, he could go along, he could sing, he could harmonize. But this is an identity that you are hearing here. And I think, and obviously I think he's also improved too, don't get me wrong. But
Ano, kailan bang laya ko dito? Eto na naman ako. Pwede bang ipagpaliban muna ng isang linggo?
there's a confidence there that wasn't there prior that I think is truly showing. I think that the other thing is too, is that, like I said, there is an identity that I think he has discovered. And I think that that's kind of what is improved. And he has what I feel like personally, whenever I think about like great singers, my first thing generally is their type of vibrato. There's a couple of vibratos out there that a lot of people will talk about. There's the one that comes on early and then kind of ends without any. There's some that just kind of go throughout, and then there's the ones that are, I like to call the the sheep vocal, which is just kind of like meh the whole time. I don't really particularly like that. Then there's the people that have the vibrato come on, and then it kind of dies off as they close out the line. And then what I think is generally the one that you kind of want to go for is when you hit the note and then have the vibrato come in at the end and kind of give it that wiggle. And I think that that's kind of more or less the kind of vibrato that he actually has. You actually can hear it when he's singing with Pablo.
Kaya ko dito. Eto na naman ako. Pwede bang ipagpaliban muna ng isang linggo? Pwede muna bang hinto? Papalapin, ako'y papalapin na. Bigla siya pag ng bawat takbang nitong paa. Patungo sa lugar kung saan ayaw kong pumunta. Wala na bang iba? Wala na.
So since this is actually something that was brought up in the last video, I'm going to tell you basically the three biggest keys of being able to kind of indicate someone who's a really good singer. One is how they breathe, their breathing technique. If you pay attention to how they breathe and where they place it is a major clue, a major indicator. Second thing is I would say mouth and vocal position. There's many different ways, and I've kind of shown prior to it, but basically like, and basically is when you're singing is you want to almost have like, in a lot of senses, at least especially when you're kind of trying to establish a vocal, is to have kind of the least amount of mouth movement as possible, because a lot of times unless you're singing high, you kind of need big open air to kind of be able to lift the palate. The next thing is diction. Now, diction means pronunciation, and that is something that if you actually, and I hate to say this because this is not me, but people that are fantastic singers have fantastic pronunciation. It is pretty common when you hear people who speak who are singers to be a lot more pronounced than that of the average person. You will not hear someone who is a singer saying stuff like mountain or fountain. They will be saying fountain and mountain and be very, very well pronounced. They will round out all of their words. And that is something that you see Stell do very well. He has great pronunciation. And, you might think to yourself, why is that it? Why is that such a great indicator of a good singer? Because of the fact of the matter is that when you're hitting these notes and your mouth has to remain open and you have to change to another word, it's hard to enunciate or say the word. But he does very, very effectively. So actually, I think we're just about to a spot. So I do think that with a little bit of the language, it does kind of require the mouth to be open a little bit more as well. But that's okay. I don't think that means he has bad technique. But listen to the pronunciation. That's what's important. So the interesting thing is, on top of all of this, because of the fact is that the way that he sings, I do know that there is a little bit of Latin influence inside of Tagalog, if I do remember correctly. But the interesting thing is that because of that, and it's actually kind of interesting, but a lot of it will be pronounced at the very front of the mouth. And that will also help pronounce or do pronunciation of words. So a lot of times, for example, I am half Scottish and half Swiss on a German side of Swiss. So everything I do is always closer to the back because that's how Scottish and German Swiss people kind of talk. So I guess in that sense, I was always doomed to be a bass singer for that reason. And that's why I have to access my high voice, my falsetto, much earlier. The next thing that I actually want to talk about is vocal agility. This is something that is extremely impressive, and I think actually covers it really well right here. So we're going to go to the Trinity here for that exact moment. So let's cover this part. Okay, so what's so impressive there? aside from the obvious. That is vocal agility, as I like to call it. Basically, there's two forms of singing. One is what your chest and what your head produce. You know, that is chest voice, most of what Ken/Philippe will sing in. Second is obviously falsetto or head voice, where it's a little more dainty, it's a little bit higher, it's a little more fine, you know. And then there's belting. And that is when you are putting the full force, and you can actually see it in a lot of them because they belt. Almost all of them at some point belt in this song. But what sets this part apart, say that 3 times fast, that's so crazy, is that each one of those is a different strain of muscle that you have to access. When you're singing, you know, very high, it's very relaxed. When you're singing that falsetto, you have to be really, really right. And then to sing lower, you have to really just kind of you kind of get that real kind of deep down in there. You got to get to the pit of your stomach. And all of it is supported by the diaphragm, but it's depending on where your tone comes from. Belting is just kind of everything. You're using everything. You'll see as they belt that you'll almost immediately see this change in stance, and you'll see the veins in their neck bulging out. Right here is a belting piece. That's belting. So for them to be able to sit there and switch from chest voice to head voice to belting and accessing all of that, that is some vocal agility. And each one of them actually accesses it here very finely. This is a very dangerous path to walk because not many people can do this. Chest voice. Some belting and into the high voice. A lot of times when you sing that belting, you'll get that at the end. Kind of what you hear right there. And in a sense, the reason why all this is important, and the reason why I bring it up, is because the fact of the matter is that this is the emotion. This is what makes you feel. There is a lot of it that I can talk about on a technicality standpoint and tell you these little fine things, but none of it matters if you do not connect with the song. If they're out here singing a song like this and your response is this, they failed. Is that how you feel? No. You can kind of tell I am a little bit fired up because of that emotion. That is the emotion that is portrayed, and all of them do a fantastic job. That is the key to all of this. That is the key to all of this. If you sit down to yourself, sit down. When you listen to this, do you feel something? If the answer is yes, they succeeded. That is the truth of it. And the tough thing about being a senior is that that's why all of this that I discuss, that's so hard, and these nice little pieces of color and texture that come out, it's the culmination of excellence that make you feel that. It's important, and it's the mark of a good senior. So anyway, yeah, they've grown. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this, and we'll discuss this down in the comments below. Thank you.